In today's episode, we will be combining 30 aluminium casings, 2 computers and 1 crystal oscillator. All of these will produce 1 radio control unit, and we'll be building all of those in one of these. Alright, let's go have a look at the radio control unit factory. Originally I was going to go for like a thin, like a wide, kind of like a thin build. But the way this one turned out, hey big boy. The sections in the middle that kind of goes in, that was completely unplanned. When I was building it I saw, okay, we can actually go in here and then just to find, we can move the outer walls in here a little bit at those ends when I was building it. And it just allows it to just accent the building a bit better, and it just gives it a more defined shape, which kind of looks pretty cool. It's got like a big eye, you know, like the letter I. Anyways, let's go have a look. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to put a drone port on the roof, so we can have these parts, which are going to be low quantity parts, are going to go from a drone from the roof to like a central storage somewhere. I'm going to have to build a secondary central storage as my first one is pretty much at capacity at the moment. Anyways, so from my aluminium plant, which is that big boy right over there, that one makes casings and alclad sheets. So casings, aluminium casings, alclad sheets, and obviously aluminium ingots. That's going to get dropped off here for the production of the radio control unit. So the first point of access you have to the building is going to be this kind of like lower section. This part here is just oil production. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the radio control factory, except for that it produces fuel, which then gets, you can actually see it here, it gets pumped into this one here, and it actually feeds my fuel station, which is way back there. You can actually see them pulling in there to get refueled. But I'll show you that more about that in the next video. Anyway, so entering the building from this point here, it will give you elevator access, and this is also where the main power is. This grid is, it's currently pulling about 980 from the grid, so that's cool. It's not too much, it's not too bad. The secondary point of entrance is going to be the actual train station, so we'll go up with the elevator. You can see the train feeding everything we need. I believe we are pulling in quick wire, rubber, plastic, and quartz crystal into this factory. Alright, let's head up. Here we go. Alright, so this is where we can have train access. So we can take the first logistics floor. It's going to also act as a means to get to the train station. So if you want to enter from the train station, this is where you go for that. Train access from this point, so you can take a ride of the train, and then just there you go, got access to the logistics floor. Right, not much to tell here. As always, I like to keep my logistics floor clean and walkable, so I can kind of easily do troubleshooting or just traverse and change things or whatever the case might be. But yeah, I like my factories to be fully walkable. Alright, let's head up to the first production floor. Right, so this one's got kind of like this clean room look with the glass encasing here. These guys, I think, let's have a look here. I think these are circuit boards. So these are circuit boards, AI limiters, and I think these are computers. Yeah, there we go. And here we can see, like, I like to do this kind of like little display, so if you're on the other side of the clean room, you can kind of like do an inspection of the parts, and you can see that everything's all good. Right, heading up one floor again, and we're going to skip this production floor. I'm going to go straight for the secondary production floor, which is going to be our first manufacturers. Right, so these are producing my crystal oscillators. I've got 6 of these, so the next floor up is also going to be crystal oscillators. And these guys are just bouncing away at it. These manufacturers actually look so damn cool. Anyways, moving on, we don't really have a lot to see here. I'm going to skip the next floor since it's exactly the same. And we're going to go straight for the final production floor. Alright, then getting at the last floor, this is where we have another clean room. And this is going to be our radio control units. So we got like a little maintenance access here. And but yeah, this is going to be our radio control units, and these are going to be used mostly for like late-end parts, and obviously for drones and drone stations. So that is definitely going to be very helpful. And my next, like I was saying, my serial storage is going to be basically a massive drone port, and then all these kind of like low volume items will be sent to that central storage for later use. Most likely in production of space elevator pods. Alright, so on the outside of the building, I've got these vents set up here, and the reason for the vents is because there's a little bit of smoke coming off from these machines. So that means that, well, for me at least, logically speaking, you should have some sort of ventilation system. Alright, so here you can see every floor's got its own little production floor. And then as you continue down, you can see I try to lay them out as neat as I can. Obviously, sometimes that's not always possible, but I try to do my best. And so our final production floor. These lights are kind of added in here just to illuminate this area, kind of like this reception area almost. And then, unfortunately, this little oil node, as well as that one over there, I didn't want to just block these off because that's just silly. So these ones, this one actually feeds my heavy oil residue one, which is meant for the power station there at the back. And the other one I'm using just for fuel, basically for this entire circuit that I've built here. So this entire road network here with all its vehicles is going to rely on that oil node over there with its little oil extractor. And it just goes into a packager and is being fed with plastic canisters. And the plastic canisters I just siphon off from my railway. Right, so these, when I was building it, originally I didn't have these kind of like pillar bits in there, like support bits in here. And the building looked pretty good without it, but I think it looks actually even better with it. So it just gives it a little bit more of a dimension. And then something I really like is kind of like this little lookout point, which goes over like a production floor as well as a logistics floor. But the cool part is the top one in here kind of looks like a proper lookout point as its level of the floor. And again, it just gives you a little bit more dimension to your build if you add like these little there we go, it's safe. If you add these kind of like little protrusions effectively, and just adding a little light in there just to draw more attention to it. But yeah, it just looks quite nice. And then going to the back here, it's a pretty clean look here on the back as well. And then what I also do is, instead of just having the concrete floors, or the coated concrete floors in this case, to go right up to the glass, it kind of makes like a little glitch against the glass, which I really don't like. That it just looks really silly. Especially if you go a bit further out, it's quite noticeable. But when you have the foundation floor 2 mini nudges away, like one normal nudge away, you can put this metal beam, or this is the metal pillar, small metal pillar. You can put this one throughout here, and that prevents, first of all, it gives it a nice little trim look, and it also prevents that glitchiness when the foundation touches the window at distance, and it just doesn't look that nice. And as you can see now, these metal pillars also just gives it a bit more character. Anyways, train station. I believe this train station is available on my Patreon. In fact, I actually think it's free there. It's either this one or the other one, which is basically the same station, just not the white version, but the normal metal look, large metal pillar. Anyways, yeah, so the train station comes in here, drops off the supplies we need. So let's double check this. Quick wire, rubber, crystal oscillator, and plastic. There we go. Oh, not crystal oscillator, quartz crystal, sorry, my bad. Right, and that's it for the radio control unit. Like I was saying, this is mainly built so I can progress with more unlocks, and primarily for drones, as well as any kind of like future space related parts, which I'm going to get to. Next up is going to be the supercomputer factory, which I'm actually going to place right over there, just in between. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. It was kind of fun to build, a fairly quick one, comparatively speaking. Just to remind everybody, this building in the world save is available on my Patreon on the tier 1 level. Tier 2 will have the world save as well as any blueprints that I used here, and the majority of the blueprints here are available on my Patreon. The tier 3 guys will have this building as a mega print available, which you can copy and paste directly into your world, either here or wherever. Feel free to strip it out and make it do something new, or if you're looking for a radio control building, then just feed it the supplies it need, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. Then lastly, I would just like to thank my patrons again. Your guys' continuous support allows me to build these kind of builds, and I'll be sure to continue to provide you guys with everything that's in my world, either through mega prints, blueprints, or the world save. If there's any suggestions, or if there's anything you guys specifically want to see, then let me know and I'll try and make a plan. Anyways, that's it for this episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheerio.